Hello, and welcome to the B&H virtual event space. Every Tuesday this January, we'll be joined by one of our favorite partners for the event space team, the photo managers. Today, we've got Dion Marriott of Captured Memories Photo Solutions to talk about using facial recognition tools to identify ancestors. Hi, Dion. How are you doing?
Great. How are you, Fred?
Good, thank you. I hope I'm not jumping the shark, but in your presentation, do you talk about how you found yourself finding and using these cutting edge facial recognition tools, or what inspired you to pursue this?
Well, a lot has changed with technology since I started my business. And, we're not just having to guess on how to find different people in our photos. And so when I came up with this idea to talk about different tools, I looked at different tools as they do different things. And so that's what I wanted to address today.
Great. Well, I mean, considering I already started in with a question, I'll probably have some at the end, but we're not here for me. We're here for the audience. If you have any questions, please enter them into the YouTube chat. We'll try to address them throughout, and maybe we'll save some for the end. But Dion, the stage is yours.
Okay, great. Thank you.
Thank you.
Well, it's so great to be here today. I'm looking forward to sharing with everyone my discoveries that I've made about facial recognition. I'm going to go ahead and share my screen. And just to kind of start us off, you should think about all those photos that you might have in your collection or you've come across, and those questions that you have about them, that you're like, who is this? And what tools do I have that
Sorry,
I
Dion. I think we're looking at a different screen.
Oh, sorry. Okay,
No
hold
problem.
on. Let me.
You have a very well organized desktop. That I will
Oh,
say.
thank you. Thank you. Let's try that. Let's try that share again. All right, we'll share this screen. How about that?
Yeah.
Will that work? Okay. All right.
And
So
we are full screen. Great.
back to those faces that we have. I think we were sharing the second screen. So you're wondering who these people are and how they might be related to the people in your family. I'm Dion Marriott. I'm the founder of Captured Memories Photo Solutions. We began in 1995, which is 30 years ago this year. So think back to what you were doing with your photos 30 years ago and how you had to guess who different people might be. And you may see some tools in here that are going to help you to make that process a lot easier. I am a certified pro with the photo managers. I started with them at the beginning around 2010 when they got started. Another certification that I've earned is the Privacy Advocate Badge, which stresses the importance of us keeping our clients' photos private and also helping them to have best practices for privacy. And then recently, I've earned the Legacy Preservation Specialist Badge. And that is aimed at helping us to teach people how to preserve their legacy and to carry that forward into new generations. We serve local and remote clients. And one of the things that I really enjoy doing is what I call the Memory Keepers Club. So people sign up for a 6-month program with that, where we work on their photos and their memories every month. And they really love it for the accountability and just the, getting things done and having homework every month and just keeping on moving forward. So that's something we really enjoy doing. So today we're going to talk about several tools that you can use with your photos to help you identify and organize people in your photo collection. So like I said, we started in 1995, and a lot has changed in technology since then. Would you agree? I want you to put in the chat, how long ago did you start being the family photo memory keeper in your family? So I'd love for that to be a little interaction in the chat so that people can see, when did you start being that person that people came to? And so when I started back in 1995, it was more the traditional scrapbooking kind of thing. and I was working on my kids' photos. And then still today, it is not the traditional so much, although I have done some of that, but more the digital scrapbooking, digital photo books, and working on my kids' photos still. So over the years, we're still doing the same thing with technology changing. We still are growing and developing what we do. So the first tool that I want to talk about is the magnifying glass. Now, if you didn't notice my logo at the beginning, I talk about how we help people organize their photos one bite at a time. You know, we have that elephant idea that elephants have great memories, and also elephants, you know, if they say, how do you eat an elephant? It's one bite at a time. So that's what I'm going to have as my little tool that we go along is the elephant. So the first one I want to talk about is the magnifying glass tool, and that is the site that we'll talk about. It's called Related Faces. Now, this is something that I was introduced to at the Photo Managers Conference a few years ago. And that's one thing I really enjoy about the conferences is that we're able to meet different vendors that are involved in the photo industry. And it's really great to be able to talk to them in person. And as I was preparing this, I reached out to the founder, Aunt Tina, and she and I had a nice conversation about how their program works and what they do that's going to help you to find your photos. So this is a really powerful technology. It's really great for genealogists, and it helps you identify unknown family members in your photos. One thing that Tina commented about to me I thought was really interesting was that if there's somebody in your photos that you don't know who it is, it's likely that you have another picture of that person in the photo as well, or in your collection. And so what they encourage you to do is to upload your photos into their database. And when you input your people data, you put in the information that you know about that person. So, you know, the more information you put in there, the more useful the search can be. Now, I will say one thing about this, as we're talking about privacy, is that when you upload photos into the Related Faces platform, you're giving them permission to put that into their database so that that can be used by other users. And so you want to, you know, not put any personal information in there that you don't want to share with others. So you're going to input your people data. And then when you process the photos, you know, say you put in 10 or 20 photos in there, it will go through and take the photo that you've identified and see what other faces that they may be able to find. Now, this is one of our photos, and in this example, this is showing you how Captured Memories uploaded the main photo, and then also the secondary photo was another photo in the collection. And what we were trying to do with this photo is determine if the woman in the photo was the man's first wife or second wife. And so it was able to look through the collection and say, this woman is probably the same woman as this woman. And then, you know, you can accept, you know, and take that information and decide if you want to go ahead and match those two. So these are some other faces that were in the database for Related Faces. And, you know, it gives you a resemblance score here. So like, for instance, in the first pair, it's showing you how it's a 99.72 resemblance. And so you're very likely, but in other ones, there's a lower resemblance score. This site also has photos from the Library of Congress that are in the collection. And so there's a good number of photos in there that you can compare to. The magic happens with this when you can identify other people in the photos. You know, it's looking at those faces in different photos and saying, this is the same man here as it is this man here. And it's allowing you to make those pairings. Just some things that you want to consider with this is, can you identify other people in the photo? Does the photo paper and clothing fit the time period? What about the birth order of the children? That's always really helpful. You see that child that's the youngest in someone's lap, and so about when that was taken, if you can determine their name. And does this person make pairings with other members that are the same family? And then where did this photo come from? So any of those things that are going to help you to use related faces in an effective way. Here's just another example of how you can solve mysteries. And it's just a really neat program, especially when you have older photos that you are not able to identify who's in those photos. The way the subscription works is, when you go into the account, you do have to go ahead and put in your information, including your credit card information, but there is a 14-day free trial. After that, it's $64.99 for 6 months. You can do unlimited photos during that time, or you can also, add new photos as you go along. So if you have a collection that you're going to focus on getting those faces named, this might be a good option for you if you have a lot of questions about it. So that is the first tool, related faces. So do we have any questions about that so far?
None from the crowd, but I thought of one.
Okay.
So you've popped in a face for it to search by. Are there any other filters that you can use during that search? Like, let's say a time frame, like you don't need to see any pictures before or after this person's lifespan, so you can like enter that sort of time frame or a last name or anything like that.
So when you're putting your initial information in, it's asking you a lot of questions, like even where this photo was taken. And so it's using those as clues as it's searching for the pairings with other photos.
Mm-hmm.
And so that helps you to be able to narrow down what photos it's going to show you. So I think that's it. Does that kind of answer your question?
Yeah, totally.
Okay.
And we also have a question from Sue. What is the oldest photo that you have had a client bring you?
I think that one that you saw at the beginning, the two that were in the oval frame, I think that was some of the oldest photos that I've seen. When we had back, before digital photography and many years back, we just didn't take nearly as many photos. And so all those photos are precious to people and to be able to identify them.
And then Anne is asking, I think she's asking, does related faces just match within the photos you uploaded or with others too? I think it's if correct me if I'm wrong, but it seems like it's searching through the entire database available in the system.
Yes, it is. And that's what I'm saying about when you upload that photo of yours, it's going into the database. And so your photo is also going to be online to be compared to other people's photos.
Mm-hmm.
And so that, there is that, you want to be aware of that for privacy reasons. But if you don't know who a photo is, that's a good way that you can match it with others. And also the ones that they have from the Library of Congress are in their collection.
Mm. Excellent. All right, onward.
Okay. All right. So we're going to move on to our next tool, which I decided this was going to be a lasso as I was thinking about this. So Forever is a company that I've worked with for a number of years as well. And they also was introduced to them first at the Photo Managers Conference and spoke with the founder of Forever. And it's something that has evolved over time as far as what they offer. But the whole idea of Forever is to be able to have a site where you upload all of your photos that you want to have preserved. And instead of a monthly membership from now on, like some of the other cloud-based sites, the way Forever works is you are paying for it. This is the monthly payout. They also have a one-time payout, but you're paying for that space for 24 months. The most popular size that I have people get is the 25 gigabyte size. And so that would be $16.99 for 24 months. And then you own that space, and they will not only, you'll have that space permanently, they will migrate your photos to the next format so that, 100 years from now, when we have something besides JPEGs, they will migrate it to the next format. And it also passes on to who you designate that to go to as your account manager. So that's a QR code where you can sign up for Forever, and also the link. And I'm going to tell you kind of how the Forever is using facial recognition as we go along. But I do have a tip sheet about Forever and how they use facial recognition that I'll be happy to email to you if you sign up for an account with that link. So the way Forever does is using a lasso, and it gathers all the faces together that look like the same person. Now, as you have different views, people looking different directions. You have people at different ages. But I like this one because when I was working on a client's project, it even did the lasso on Skelly, the skeleton in their company break room. And so all these different faces, it's grouping them into various groups so that you can name them. Now, the first time you see the grouping, and it does process this automatically, everything says unnamed, and it says how many of each file that you have. Then you can go through and you can name the various people and then combine anybody that you maybe have more than one of. And so the tip sheet that I put together about facial recognition gives you kind of the best practices about how to accomplish that so that you have everybody in the same people label as you go along. Of course, with children, you're going to have lots of different views. And so it's really very good as far as saying these faces all go together, but it's not going to combine them into one person until you say, yes, I want to merge all these faces together. So this is all the same person. And so it's asking you here, are you sure you want to merge? And then it's gathering all those faces together. So a big difference with this and the related faces is this is only looking at your own photo collection. It's not looking at anything else. And so like when I'm working on my own photos, of course, I can label, the different people in the photos. But when I'm working with clients, sometimes I need, of course, I've made a list of who's in their family and that kind of thing, but I need their help to identify the people in there. But the good thing about that is that this seems to be the most enjoyable part of working on the photos for clients because they're getting to see photos of people that they haven't seen, all in one collection together. And so it's a good way that they can gather everyone up. And then also they're getting to, see where they may have repetition in their photos or photos that, they don't want at all. So it's a good way to kind of curate your photo collection by using a lasso in that way. There is an additional cost on the facial recognition feature with Forever, and it's $129.99 a year. Once you activate that, all the faces that come into your collection in that year are recognized, and anything that you name during that time, it stays in the account. So, if you decide you're going to do it for a year and then, you don't have any new faces to add right now, you can stop your subscription and it will keep all the faces that you've already named in there. And then if you add it on later, it will just continue to process those photos and add those to your collection. So I really enjoyed working with this and learning more about it. This is a new feature of Forever since the end of September. So if you've explored Forever before and you didn't know about this, it's a new feature. And so that's something that people really seem to be enjoying is looking at all those photos. Do we have any questions about the lasso feature?
No questions for the lasso feature on Forever. I do want to shout out Tina in the chat. She is apparently the owner of Related Faces, and
Okay,
she's fielding some of the more international questions.
okay,
Oh,
good.
here we go. Sue's asking, when Forever initially gives you an unnamed face, is it just one face or a group of faces?
It's a whole group of faces.
Mhm.
So it's all the faces that look the same. And so they're gathered up together with the lasso, but then, you're able to combine the faces into one.
Mhm. Great. Thank you.
All right. And then one more thing about Forever that I wanted to mention is that once you have those faces all gathered up, you're able to put information into the edit a person screen, so that this is, continuing to build your information and your database of what belongs with your photos. They do have plans to be adding a family tree feature down the road, and then also decluttering some of the photos is what they're going to call it, where they're getting rid of, with your okay, some of the duplicates that are in the system. So that's another neat feature with Forever. All right, we're going to move on to our next one, and I have a little video for it, and it is like using a reference book.
Whether it's scanned memories or digital collections, imagekeywording.com helps you tag your photos with accurate date, location, and keywords. Upload up to 1,500 images at once and let the AI handle the rest. Analyze and download a CSV file with your photos metadata. The AI works with what's available, pulling as much information as possible from your photos, even when some details aren't perfectly clear. For newer photos with recognizable details, imagekeywording.com provides accurate location and time and descriptive keywords. Even with older or unclear images, the AI gives its best guess and explains why it might miss certain details. After your free trial, easily upgrade to one of our monthly plans or a one-time payment, all through trusted Stripe checkout for secure payments. No more endless online searches. Let imagekeywording.com embed accurate date, location, and keywords directly into your photos metadata. Get started with 100 free credits. Sign up and learn more at imagekeywording.com. Whether it's scanned memories or
Now we have to get to the next page. Okay, so I just want to show you a little bit more up close about this option. This is the image keywording. And so this is, not really a facial recognition option, but it's more if you don't, if you need some background on the photos. And so this would be more like telling you where the photo was taken, what time period, and that kind of thing that would be helpful as you move forward. So I can see this being part of using related faces and also part of using Forever spatial recognition. And so it's a good way that you can combine those different options. The way the imagekeywording.com works is it is a subscription plan or a one-time payment, just depending on what works better for you. You can do, if you're doing a lot of images, you might want the standard monthly plan, or if you're just doing a few images, you can just do the credits and then use those as you go. And so that's another option for you, and helping you to get the keywords in there and get it where you maybe have some more information that you didn't have before. So I know that one was short, but that's the image keywording and how that works. So to wrap it up, I just want to review what you might want in your toolbox. You can use a magnifying glass. That would be the related faces. You can use a lasso. You can use that with Forever. And then you can also use a reference book. But there's one thing that is not a tool. And, technology is going to change, but there's something that you really need to use when you're thinking about getting the dates right on your photos. And that is the people in your life that may know more about the photos than you do. This is a resource, as you might say, that maybe is overlooked, but the people that know about those photos, that know who might be in the photos, when they were taken, where they were taken, you don't want to miss out on the opportunity to talk to those people in your life and add that information to your family history. I'm glad I got to talk to you today, and I'll be glad to take any other questions that you have. Again, there's my website, capturedmemories.biz. And then also, if you have any questions related to the photo managers, there's the photo managers website. You can go to my website and subscribe to my newsletter, the Photo Jungle, if you're interested in that. And then also, if you subscribe or if you sign up for the Forever Photos option, I'll send you that tip sheet about using Forever Sliso feature. Do we have any questions?
All right. Well, I'll get the questions rolling from my side.
Okay, we're going to
This
stop
week,
the screen share, right?
yeah, that'd be great.
Here we go. Okay.
Hi. So this week, we're in the middle of a week-long series with a speaker about Lightroom, and he brought up, the many organization tools that are available in Lightroom, including keywording. Does the imagekeywording.com, is there compatibility with if you're already using keyword functions in Lightroom or Capture One or anything like that?
Yes, there is. So you're able to make a spreadsheet from there and then import that back into Lightroom to add the metadata to your photos. So, just depending on which tool you're using, but I kind of like it to just see what it's finding in the photos, but then you can also move that back into Lightroom.
Mm-hmm. So with these tools, what kind of success rate have you been seeing? Like, have there been any big misses in terms of, like it sees a photo and it matches up to just the wrong thing sometimes, and
Well, I did have some that I had added that were photos from the Polynesian Cultural Center in Hawaii from maybe the 50s or 60s. And it was identifying them as other islands because
Mhm.
of the background that was in the photos. But that was what they were intended to be. If you've ever visited there,
Yeah.
that's what it looks like. So, I guess that's kind of a miss because you're, that's not where it is.
Yeah.
It's in Hawaii. But, so, you have to take that into consideration. And of course, with Forever's facial recognition, sometimes you have siblings that look similar and, you can enlarge those photos and make it where you can see them more clearly. And so that's something that you would want to do before you merge anyone together.
Since you've been doing this since 95, you said, right? Oh, by the way, your first interactive question with the group, there's seemingly someone from every decade. We had 1980, we had 1998, we had 2008. So
Oh, yeah.
yeah. So
Very
the
fun.
family archivist, there seems to be the need for one every year.
And it, the technology changes. And so, what I'm talking about today, 10 years from now, we're going to have different technology, but we're always going to have people to talk to about our memories. And so don't get hung up on feeling like you have to figure out all the technology if you still have people to talk to that can tell you these things.
So since you started in 1995, when did you start when did facial recognition software come into your domain and become part of your workflow for your business?
I would say with the related faces, I learned about that a couple of years ago at the conference, maybe 2 or 3 years ago. I'm not sure. Tina can probably tell you when she was at the conference. Uh, but I just didn't have that type of client at the time. And so it's just one of those things that we try to with the photo managers is you learn about those tools, but then you don't always know that you need those tools until that type of client comes into your business. And so it's good to have those things available. Um, Forever, I've been with since their beginning 10 years ago, but the facial recognition has been a game changer as far as getting things identified in there. And so I've really been doing a deep dive with that the last few months. There are other software that they offer. It had some facial recognition capabilities, but not nearly as robust as this. And so that's good. And then the image keywording, I used it, the slides that I mentioned, to help a client that's in her 80s to figure out, well, where were these slides taken after all? The ones that she didn't remember. And so I found that's a really good resource for slides.
With other photo managers that we've had in the past, it wasn't only about archiving photographs, but also all types of media, audio recordings. I imagine obviously this doesn't fall into that, but do you know if any of these tools work in a video capacity?
I haven't found any tools that work in video capacity, but that would be interesting to explore. I wonder if there's something that would talk about different video formats
Mhm.
that would be like, okay, if it's in the, of course we know that if it's in a reel, it's an older format. And, there's probably some kind of guidelines, but as far as AI with it, I don't know if we would have something like that.
You know what? I just thought, mate, you could always just take a screenshot because
You could.
a video is just a series of photographs. So,
You could take a screenshot. If you wonder what's in the background of that video, you could take a screenshot of it, run it through one of these programs, and maybe it would give you some landmarks that you could work with.
uh, I see Tina in the chat. She said 2023 is when you met at the conference.
Okay.
So,
Okay.
there you go. Um, is there any tools that you see on the horizon that you're interested in, but haven't adopted yet?
I can't really think of anything in the AI area. That's something that we're always learning new things in the photo managers and in the photography world. It just seems like there's things that you didn't even know that you needed until you came up with it. And so many things that we used to do manually, like go through and find duplicates. That it's like, oh, this is so much better to be able to run it through a duplicate finder. But there's nothing that takes place of a human being, of course. But
Oh, yeah.
but yeah.
Not yet. Hopefully never, but
Hey, there's always a good job security because you've got to think through all these things. So.
yeah. All right. Well, do you have any closing thoughts you'd like to leave us with as far as using the tools and maybe, how to convert that into your own business or?
Well, when you think about your business and how you're approaching working with people, when you have a bottleneck in your workflow that is keeping you from moving forward with a client, think about if any of these tools could be something that would be useful for you professionally or personally, because, there's not one tool that's going to fit everything. And so that's what's nice about exploring different options is that you have different ways that you can approach a question, of who is this person? When was it taken? And where does this fit into my collection? And so just, keep that in mind. I mean, it may, like I said with the related faces, I learned about it, back in 23 at the conference, but just haven't had the need for somebody that has that type of photo. So you never know when that's going to come into your business. So
All right.
any
Great.
other questions from the chat?
It doesn't look like we have any other questions in the chat. So please, Dion, thank you so much for joining us today.
Thank you.
The photo managers, thank you for bringing Dion to the platform. We look forward to seeing you here again. If that's all, if you're watching this and you're interested in anything else the photo managers has brought to the table for us, or any other educational content that we can provide, be sure to check out the BH Event Space YouTube channel. This should be available for replay right away. Dion will actually be sharing it on her YouTube channel as well, so you can find your way there. And that's it for today with the photo managers. Dion, photo managers, all of you, everybody watching at home, thank you again for joining us. With that, this has been another edition of the BH Event Space. Thank you so much. Have a great afternoon.
Thank you.